You know that feeling when you inherit a set of gorgeous glassware, or maybe you spot a sparkling decanter at a thrift store and you just get that little spark of curiosity? Well, today, we're going to turn that curiosity into a full-on treasure hunt right inside your own home.
Because let's be real, that piece you've been overlooking could be anything. It might be simple pressed glass, or it could be a really valuable piece of handcrafted crystal. So the big question is, how in the world do you tell the difference? That's exactly what we're about to figure out together.
Okay, so first things first. What even is crystal? It's a word we throw around all the time, but the real secret to its amazing sparkle? Well, it's all down to a little bit of chemistry. At its heart, what we call crystal is technically a special kind of glass called lead glass. See, in regular glass, you've got calcium, but in crystal, glass makers swap that out for lead oxide. This one simple change makes the material way denser and gives it this incredible ability to bend light. And that is the magic right there. It's what allows light to split into a rainbow of colors, giving crystal that signature fire and brilliance we all love.
So before you even start looking for a signature, you can often tell crystal from glass just by using your senses. It's pretty cool. If you gently tap the rim, crystal sings with this clear, bell-like ping that goes on for a second. Regular glass, it just makes a dull funk. Hold it up to a window. Crystal acts like a prism, throwing little rainbows around the room. It'll also feel noticeably heavier than a glass piece of the same size. And finally, just run your finger over the decorative cuts. On real crystal, they're sharp and precise, not smooth and rounded like you'd find on molded glass.
All right, let's get practical. To figure out what you're actually holding in your hands, you just need your own little detective toolkit. And the best part is, it's all based on 5 super simple tests you can do right now. Okay, so let's run through the toolkit. You've got the ping test, right? The light test, the weight test, and the cut test. Honestly, if your piece passes these first 4, you are almost certainly holding crystal. And that brings us to the most exciting part, the final step, grabbing a magnifying glass to find out who made it. This, my friends, is where the real hunt begins. So, once you're pretty sure you have crystal, the next puzzle is to identify the creator. Manufacturers mark their work to prove it's authentic, but these marks, they're not always obvious. You really have to know what you're looking for. Now, makers use a few different ways to sign their pieces. The one you'll see most on high-end brands is an acid-etched mark. It looks like a faint, frosted logo. But you might also find what's left of a paper label, though those almost never survive years of washing. Some artists would actually hand-engrave their signatures, while other marks were molded right into the glass itself. And on really modern pieces, you might find a tiny, razor-sharp, laser-etched logo. So where do you actually find these things? You've got to be a bit of a detective here. Get a really strong light source, like a bright lamp or just a sunny window. You need to tilt the glass at all different angles and carefully check the center of the base, the rim, and sometimes even the bottom of the bowl. They are designed to be super discreet, so trust me, they're not going to just jump out at you. Okay, so you found a mark. Awesome. But what does it mean? Now we get to look at a few of the most legendary names in the world of crystal. These are the ones that get collectors really excited. And you can really see the variety in how they mark their work. A classic French Baccarat piece might have a tiny etched seal. An Irish Waterford piece is famous for its elegant script signature. The American company Heisey used this very distinctive raised H inside a diamond. And then you have a brand like Fostoria. They were super popular during the Depression era, so to keep costs down, they often just used simple paper labels. Of course, most of those have washed away long ago, so now you often have to identify their pieces by pattern alone. You know, the story of St. Louis, which is the oldest crystal maker in France, is a perfect example of how these marks can change over time. For centuries, they just used paper labels, so if you happen to have a really old piece, that mark is probably long gone. But after 1936, they made a big switch to a permanent acid-etched stamp. This kind of evolution is huge for collectors because it helps them date pieces with incredible accuracy. This quote from Baccarat really just drives the whole point home. For the world's most prestigious makers, the signature isn't some afterthought. It is their absolute guarantee of quality and authenticity. It's the brand's promise etched right into the crystal that you are holding a genuine piece of their history and their legacy. So, now you've got the tools. You know how to tell crystal from glass, you know where to look for a signature, and you know some of those legendary names to watch out for. The only question left is, what secrets, what stories, and what hidden treasures are just waiting to be discovered in your own home? The hunt is officially on.